How to build rapport. I received a comment from one of you guys, and it was, can you make a video on how to build rapport? But before we kick it off, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. Top link in the description, or go to my website to sign up to do some coaching. Uh, Generally, over the last couple of years, I've focused mainly on cold approach, but I'm branching out, not only in day game. We're doing, since the lockdowns, a lot more night game. We're focusing on dating apps and social media as well. Slowly building up my repertoire when you guys do live coaching with me as well. So just keep that in mind. And I have received a few messages from guys thinking that this is a free service. No, it's not a free service. That's a little bit silly, but anyway, how to build rapport. Now, a lot of guys will tend to think that they can build rapport off the cold approach. I don't believe you can, and I just want to eliminate that before we get into the main part of this video. Guys think that you can build rapport or build attraction, which doesn't really make much sense off the cold approach. And the reason why I don't believe that you can build rapport, unless you're just a super chadmungus, you know, big dick fucking Chad, sexy guy who's approaching sixes, it is really difficult to build rapport off the approach. And my reasoning for this is that there's no correlation between the length of approach and a flaky number or a solid number. Let me explain. The the general consensus is, off the approach, the longer you stay in set, you go into an instant date, you take her out for a coffee or to lunch or something, you go for a walk through the park, and that's going to build more rapport and therefore increase your probability of a solid number for the second meetup after the approach. And there's actually no correlation, because it's not only myself that has put it into a spreadsheet and had a close look at the numbers. It is now my students that will either they'll deliberately do short approaches, get in, get out within a minute, run their game fast, get in, get out, know there's a time constraint, or give a false time constraint. I need to go, get in, get out, especially when you're in a big city like Sydney CBD. This is where I do most of my coaching. You can get in, get out kind of fast. The hook rate is kind of low. And then there's the opposite end of the spectrum, where those same guys will approach the same demographic of girl and do long, stick in for a long period of time, do instant dates. Same guy, same sort of game. His game hasn't increased or decreased in between doing both of these different length approaches, and then they'll do a longer approach, same demographic, and do shorter approaches, get in, get out. And there's no correlation between the solidness of the contact information. There's no higher probability of her responding and coming out on a date. And there's even some guys that, even through day game, have pushed it where they've gone on an instant date, gone for a little bit of a walk in the park, along the beach, coffee, lunch, held hands, made out, had like almost spontaneous romantic full afternoon with a girl and she still doesn't respond, while the same guy will go out and pump out 20 approaches in a full day if he's doing a proper full day, that is. And I don't recommend that you guys spend full days out there gaming unless you're behind the ball and you're trying to get things happening. Short approaches, 1 minute, pump out a bunch of them, and a large percentage of those for the right guy on the right day will end up more solid than a guy that did a whole bunch of instant dates. So, long story short, I don't believe that. I just wanted to eliminate the cold approach because I don't believe that you can build rapport off the cold approach. Not entirely, you can a little bit, but not really. Now, I probably waffled on a little bit too long, but let me just get to the point of it. You're out on a date and you want to build rapport with the girl. The number one way to build rapport on a date with a girl is to get her talking about herself. Now, sometimes you might struggle to get a girl to open up and tell you about herself, and you might find yourself interrogating, going into interview mode too much on the date. If you have the small talk social skills and you're capable of opening her up so that she starts sharing a lot about herself, that will build rapport. When you find out about her whole family, work, life, her childhood, and she tells you long stories about herself, she will then feel that you know her very well. And if she thinks that you know her very well, you know her history and everything about her, then she will naturally be drawn to you, which is an interesting way that women behave. But if you tend to know, this is why if you meet a girl off the cold approach and she asks, "What's my name?" and you've forgotten her name, which is a little bit ridiculous. You're supposed to remember her name off the cold approach, or at 1 a.m. in the nightclub, and you've had a few drinks, or she's had a few drinks, and or it's a quick little spontaneous approach in the street, and she asks, "Do you know my name?" and you've forgotten her name, she'll get insulted. It's a little bit weird expecting you to have perfect memory, but that's also in line with building rapport. And he knows me, he remembers everything about me. It's almost like he knows me, he can read my mind. And this is where a lot of the problems with relationships sometimes happen, where the girl will be emotional or have some sort of an issue, and she'll become passive aggressive with her boyfriend because he doesn't know he can't read her mind. But a lot of women just don't have the social skills, and they just expect you to be able to read her mind. And so this is all in line with the simple way to build rapport. The number one way, it is to just get her to talk about herself and make sure you remember everything she says. So, and you can relay it back to her in the future. So if that's been helpful, give me a thumbs up on this video. And if you're interested in learning some cold approach, you want to learn some cold approach skills, go to the website, fill out the form, and do some cold approach coaching with myself in Sydney CBD. See you guys next one.